Hi, I'm Sarah from the Customer Accounts team. I'm with my colleague Nikki today. We want to take you through a bit of myth busting on universal credit and just give you a few hot topics and tips around what you can do if you need to claim universal credit. We're aware that there are a lot of our customers currently in financial difficulty. You might have lost your job, you might be furloughed. If you get any message from today from Nikki and I, it would be that we in the customer accounts team are here to help you. Universal credit has had some bad press in the past, but we're here to help you if you think that you need to claim, and lots of benefits go unclaimed each year. And if you're entitled to something, we're really, really keen, obviously, that you get that. There are a few things that we can do to help and support you around would you be entitled and wouldn't you? So there are benefit calculators out there. We have one on our website. One is on the gov.uk website. They're free. They're very simple to use. If you feel confident to do it yourself, perhaps you could do a little test run and see if you might be entitled. But if not, then give us a call in customer accounts and we can take you through that. So I'm going to hand you over to Nikki now, who's one of our UC advisors, and she'll take you through the next step.
Thank you, Sarah. So yeah, as Sarah said, my name's Nikki. I'm one of the Universal Credit Advisors at Curo, and I'm going to talk to you about making a claim to Universal Credit. Just give you a brief overview of how it all works. It's a really straightforward process, and you can do it online. The only things that you'll need to sort of get together before you make the claim is to make sure you've got an email address and your national insurance number. So most people do have those things, but we don't take that for granted. So if you know anybody that hasn't got an email address, or yourself not got one, it's a good idea to ask somebody to help you set an email address up so you've got that ready for the claim when you go online and make it. So that's the sort of the main purpose of the email address, to use it to set up the claim. And then also, if you're not IT savvy and you need help to make a claim, we know that Citizens Advice can help you do that with their help to claim service, where they can help you to make the claim over the phone. If you know anybody that's not able to do that, if they've not got internet access and they're not IT savvy, then they can make claims over the phone with the DWP. But as always, if you've got any questions, we're here to help and answer any queries you might have about making claims. So that's how you go about making a claim. So now I'm going to hand you back to Sarah, and she's going to talk to you about what happens after you've made the claim.
So first of all, we know that there is, with universal credit, you have a wait for money, and it's generally around 5 weeks, and that can put a lot of customers off claiming. But our message is, if you think you're going to be entitled, you've done an estimate and there is some entitlement there, you do the claim as soon as possible. We as a landlord are here to support you. You may not be able to pay your rent for those first 5 weeks, but we can help. We have got something called breathing space at the moment, where we can put a pause on things when we know that you've claimed and you've got the monies coming. So that's something that we can work around. What also might put you off is you might not have money for general things. You might be worried about food. You might be worried about your fuel. Again, us as a landlord, we have contacts with the local authority, many food banks, and initiatives out there that can sometimes help with fuel if you have a key meter. So whilst it might be a bit scary and you're thinking, actually, no, I'm just going to remain on my working tax credits, or I'm going to remain on a low income, we would encourage you to speak to us and let us help you to support you to make that claim, as we can work through you with that weight. So once you've done that, it's quite an easy, manageable claim because it's all online if you are IT savvy. And Nikki's going to tell you a bit about what you would do and how you would manage that claim online once you've done it.
Lovely, thanks, Sarah. And I'll just reiterate, it's really important to think about making those claims if you are on the old benefits, because you may be missing out on something. So that's really important. So I'll go on to what happens after you've made the claim. So basically, you would have made your claim online, and by doing that, you've created your own universal credit account online, which you can access any time of the day. It's an excellent way to keep an eye on what's happening with your money, and you don't have to depend on anyone else to tell you, or wait for letters and things like that. You've got the access to it all the time. So there's a few parts in the online journal. You've got a home where you report the changes, any changes that happen during your claim. Someone moves in, someone moves out, you have a child, you change your job. There's a home tab where you can report any changes. Also up updating your housing costs. That's what the home tab's for, really important part of the journal. So that's mostly where you report your changes, anything that's changed in your household. Really important you do that as soon as the change happens, because you don't want to be affected by losing out on money or being paid too much. So that's one really important part of the journal. The other part, this is the middle tab on the account. Once you've got it set up, it's called the to-do list. You use that to-do list to check any activities that Universal Credit want you to complete. And it's really important to check on that regularly, especially when you've just made the claim, because they will ask you to complete things to make sure your first payment happens. So always check that to-do list, because if you've not completed some of the actions, that could delay your payment and, you know, cause issues further down the line. So always keep an eye on that to-do list, and that's a great part of the journal as well. Now the other tab on the top of the account that you have is called the journal. So that's a really useful part of the account, because there you can write messages to your case manager, you can ask questions, you can follow up payments. So yeah, it's a really useful part of the account as well. So yeah, really important. Like I say, make sure you use the account to report any changes, check your to-do list, and use the journal as a messenger as part of your online claim. And again, all this is available 24 hours a day, and you can manage and maintain your own account. So I'm going to hand over to Sarah, because she's going to tell you about another part of the Universal Credit account. Thanks, Sarah.
Thanks, Nikki. Yeah, really important messages there. You can access it 24/7, do stuff immediately, don't delay. Once you have done all the bits that you need to do about letting them know what maybe your change of income is or any change that you've had, the Universal Credit account will give you a statement. So what we say to people is, when you have your Universal Credit, it's almost like a salary. So what they'll do is they'll look at what you've earned that month, and then they will calculate what you might be entitled to Universal Credit. And they will tell you about what you are going to receive in a statement in your account. Now, that statement will be shown to you 7 days before you get any money. So what we say to people is, whilst you're keeping an eye on your journal, make sure you check that statement 7 days before, because if you notice anything's wrong, then we've got time to put it right, to make sure that you're receiving the right money that you need to receive. So yeah, absolutely, 24/7 you can do that. But yes, all the information's there, but you just need to be on it and access it and check it. So Nikki's going to tell you a little bit more now about the journal and how you would use your online account. So over to you, Nikki.
Lovely, thank you. So as Sarah said, you get a statement when you've come to the end of your assessment period and they've worked out how much you're going to get paid. And as she says, really important to check. Now, sometimes when you check that statement, you may find, as Sarah said, that there's an issue with the payment. Now, you may, well, the first port of call is to try and call Universal Credit and ask them what the issue is and see if you can get that rectified. And hopefully, you know, you'll get your resolution as soon as possible, or it may take a little bit longer. So a sort of a top tip, if you like, is once you've made that call to Universal Credit, use your journal. Remember the messenger I said, use that journal part of your account to back up the call that you've made. Always sort of record the day that you made the call and what you were calling about. So then if there's any issues further down the line, when you've been waiting for that resolution, you can go back to the journal and you can remind yourselves of the first time you made that call, what you spoke about, and then that helps further on down the line with looking back and getting that payment sorted out. It's good to keep a record, so a really good function of the journal. Also, sometimes what can happen is you can call Universal Credit and you can't get through. Again, another good point, when that's the issue and you've not been able to get through, go and put a note in your journal, ask someone to call you and say, I've tried to call today, I've not been able to get through, could somebody give me a call? And again, that keeps a good record of the attempts you've tried to call, what you've been trying to call about, and everything like that. Always something good to refer back to, so that you've got evidence later on down the line if you're trying to recall a payment. So that's mainly what I was going to talk about with journals. Sorry, I was just having a quick look at my notes, but that's my bit for now. And I'm going to hand you over to Sarah now. She's going to talk to you about advances, something else, another function of the Universal Credit Claim. Okay, thank you, Sarah.
No problem. So advances, what are they? This is where you can receive your Universal Credit, a payment of your Universal Credit in advance. If you are thinking to yourself that you're not going to be able to manage, that you maybe have some bills that are troubling you or worries, and you think you want some universal credit ahead of time, it's called an advance. You can apply for it after you've had your identification appointment, or 5 days before your assessment period, before you're going to get paid. The real message I want to get out about advances is it's money that you're having from the DWP that you are entitled to, but you will have to pay it back. Okay, currently, I believe it's over 12 months that you would need to pay that money back. So they would give you all the money that you're entitled to for your assessment period, and it includes your housing costs. So as you can imagine, I'm in the customer accounts team and we're looking after your rent account for you. And my advice is, if you think you need that advance, think again, really check through that wait for money. Can we help you with that? Can it be food bank? Can it be fuel voucher? Can it be something the local authority might help you with, rather than taking that money and then living for the next 12 months on a much more reduced amount of universal credit? So, which then can leave you getting behind with bills moving forward. So, yes, the advance is there. You don't need to take it all. You could just take a proportion if there's something that you need and there's something you desperately need to pay. But we're happy to talk to you about those advances. But rather than just select to take it all, please think about it and speak to somebody about it first. Nikki.
Lovely. So I'm going to talk to you about what you can earn and claim on universal credit. There's a lot of myths that people think if they're working that they're not going to be entitled to any universal credit. Well, it's dependent on so many different variables. It could depend on what your income is, how often you work, if your hours of work change, who's living in your accommodation, what people's earnings are, their ages. There's so many different things that come into the universal credit calculation. So and also the reason we stress this so highly is a lot of benefit goes unclaimed during sort of each financial year. And, so we always stress, check it out. There's so much benefit that goes unclaimed. Just because you work, it doesn't mean that you won't be able to claim universal credit. So we always stress, check it out, because there's lots of different variables that affect it. And we're also here to help with those with benefit calculators. If you're unsure, you just want to check something out, we're always here to help you with that, and signpost you to how to make the claim and those kind of things. So if any doubt, make the claim to universal credit, give it a go, use a free online benefit calculator or anything like that. And this isn't just to universal credit. We also recognise that pension age benefits, lots of older age benefits going unclaimed. See it in the media, pension credits going unclaimed, thousands and thousands of pounds benefits not being claimed. So again, any doubt, get in touch with us and we'd be happy to talk you through, signpost you to a benefit calculator or anything like that.
Yeah.
I'll hand over to Sarah now, because that's my bit on making sure check it out if in any doubt. So thank you.
Absolutely. Billions of pounds goes unclaimed for benefits. So the message is, yes, claim. There was one other thing I wanted to talk to you about with the universal credit, and that is your rent. And when you claim universal credit, you may receive a housing cost element. That's your rent element. For lots of customers who are in financial difficulty, perhaps already in rent arrears, we can select to have those rent costs, housing costs, paid to us direct. So when you claim, you'll talk to a UC advisor. They'll take you through from your first claim through to your payment and have that conversation. We may have that conversation with you that actually for a period while you get used to the benefits, while you get used to your budgeting, it might be a safety net to have those housing costs paid to us. One less thing for you to worry about, and then you can concentrate on getting used to your universal credit monthly. So yes, rent can be paid to us direct. We can select to do it if you're in arrears, but we will talk to you first. But it might, like I say, be a safety net. Off-piste a bit, because there's just a couple of things that Nikki and I wanted to talk to you about before the end of this video. And one is, I just wanted to highlight warm home discount. We are in autumn, winter. Our fuel bills are obviously going to cost us more. If you receive benefits or on a low income, the cost is normally around £16,000. Contact your provider. You could get warm home discount. it's £140 off of your bill over this cold period. So again, we can help with that if you want to give us a call, but it's your provider that will sort it out for you. And Nikki's going to finish off today just with some information about a really good saving scheme if you're interested in saving. I know that none of us are particularly cash rich at the moment and want to save, but this is a particularly good initiative that she'll finish off with today.
Lovely, thank you, Sarah. I'm going to talk to you about money for nothing. We all like money for nothing. So it's a scheme under Universal Credit. It's called the Help to Save scheme. So basically, it's a scheme set up. It seems quite straightforward that you can save, a certain amount each month, and then Universal Credit will match whatever you save by 50%. So, for example, if you save £300 in a year, you would have tallied up £150 from Universal Credit. So, it's really a really good scheme worth thinking about. So you can put in as much as you like each month and save up that way. It's, there's no sort of banking stuff going through it. It's part of your Universal Credit claim. To get the bonuses from Universal Credit, you need to at least meet the 2-year mark of saving underneath that scheme, and then the 4-year mark, because the bonuses are awarded after 2 years of saving, then again after 4 years of saving. So if you've got any plans for a holiday or any special occasions, this is a really good way to put that money away. And if you manage to hit the 2-year mark, what they call it is your highest balance. So let's say over 2 years you managed to save £600, your first bonus at that 2-year point would be £300. So you've put away your £600, Universal Credit have given you £300, so happy days, you've got yourself £900 just for putting that money away. So again, and then if you top it up again for the next following 2 years, say you topped it up another £200, so your highest bonus was £600 for 2 years. We know you've got £300, and after that 2 years, you added another £200 onto that £600 that you'd save. Then you would get another £100 from Universal Credit. So it's 50% of the £200 you saved in the 3rd and 4th year. So a really good way to get free money, and save up for that special occasion or something you need to pay for. So yeah, I thought I'd let you guys all know about that, because we always like to have a top tip and something that's going to put extra money in our pockets. So yeah, that's everything from me. I'm going to hand back to Sarah, because she'll probably round it up for today. But as always, please do give us a call if you've got any questions. We're always happy to help.
Yeah, thank you, Nikki. No, thank you ever so much. Thank you all for your time. Don't forget our website, lots about money matters on the Curo website if you need to look that up, or like I say, pick up the phone, and we're happy to help.